Day 15 of the Delphi murders trial has ended. The defense focused on attacking the main piece of the prosecution's case, Richard Allen's own confessions while in state prison.
CBS 4's Max Lewis is live outside the Carroll County Courthouse in Delphi for us tonight. Max, the defense really trying to prove Richard Allen's detailed confession to the crimes was false.
Hey, good evening, Bob and Chelsea. Yeah, and they have really had trouble specifically with one specific detail in those confessions that apparently Richard Allen made. He told his prison psychologist that as he was preparing to assault Abby Williams and Libby German back in February of 2017, that he was interrupted by a van, and that's why he had to take them across the creek and eventually kill them. The prosecution brought up, when it was presenting its case, Brad Weber, who owns a property nearby, and says that he was driving his van home from work around 2:30 that afternoon, which is when they believe that the murders occurred. Well, Brad Weber was called back to the stand today, where he had an at times very contentious back and forth with defense attorney Andrew Baldwin. Weber admitted that he might have told police many years ago that he didn't go straight home after work that day, which would of course mess with the prosecution's timeline of the crime. He apparently also said he might have been driving a different car that he owned, not a van, but he said last week and today that he was driving a van and doesn't remember giving those contradictory statements to police. Now, Allen made that confession while at the Westville Correctional Facility, where he was held for more than a year before his trial. On Saturday, the jurors were shown several videos from his time at the prison, specifically when he was being dragged across the floor naked, and then another one when he was being tased by guards. Well, today they were shown even more videos. These ones, though, were from an in-cell surveillance camera that apparently showed Allen eating his own feces at times and then beating his head repeatedly against a wall. The monitor showing those videos was turned away so that the public, those of us in the gallery, couldn't see them. That's similar to how it was done on Saturday. We were able to see the jurors' faces, of course. Some did appear pretty disturbed by what they saw. The prosecution once again objected to all of them being shown. But the defense started off the day with their own expert psychologist who did an assessment of Allen and determined that he had severe depression, which did turn into a period of psychosis when he was thrown into solitary confinement at Westville. Dr. Polly Westcott rebuked the prison psychologist's belief that Mr. Allen was faking his own symptoms. Dr. Westcott said Allen showed no signs of deception during her assessments of him. Now, of course, that is all during the time when he was making these confessions. And in one of those confessions, he did say that he molested not only his sister, but his daughter. Both of them were brought to the stand today. The first time any of Allen's family members have taken the stand, both of them said he did not molest them. This is obviously the attempt by the defense to sow some reasonable doubt and to possibly show to the jury that just because Richard Allen said something doesn't mean he actually did it. We'll see if the jurors buy it, of course. Court picks back up tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. In Delphi tonight, I'm Max Lewis, CBS 4 News.
We appreciate your live coverage out there, Max. Thank you. CBS 4 will bring you updates on the Delphi murders trial on air and online. Just head to cbs4indy.com/Delphi.